What is going on, everyone? My name is Northy, and today we have ourselves the regular round 19 preview for this week. We are nearly in the 20s, nearly at the end of the season. It is an exciting finish to the season coming up, so I'm really excited to share what we've got coming up this weekend. But as per usual, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Everything is always very much appreciated, and I'm really keen for a weekend of footy, man. It's going to be a really fun week. Hopefully things go well, but nonetheless, I'm glad you guys are spending some time with me and enjoying the weekend with me. So, without further ado, let's jump into the preview for this week. Alright, so this is what we are looking at this week. At the time of recording this, we are about 4 hours away from the game, so keen as a bean, of course. But let's have a look at what we've got coming up in terms of the tips this week. So, what are we looking at? We've got ourselves tonight, the game being Essendon versus Adelaide at Marvel. I'm keen for a Friday night game like that. I'm really excited. Essendon, this is really a game they should win. I think Adelaide, at their best, can put up a fight, but this is a game that Essendon should be able to handle quite comfortably. But it's going to be interesting for sure. We'll see how it turns out. My tip, Essendon. It is, for them, more of a home game. I don't know if MCG is more of their home, but I know for a fact I've seen a lot of Essendon games at Marvel this season, so I'd like to think they're used to it. They've beaten some pretty good teams there, so Adelaide should be no different. Some other obvious ones should be Carlton beating North. We've got the Power most likely beating Richmond. They've been kind of poor. And then everything else, I'm not 100% sure on. We've got ourselves a Brisbane versus Sydney game at the Gabba. That could be really fun. Freo versus Melbourne, a Freo side that should probably beat a team like Melbourne at the moment, but Melbourne coming off a pretty good win against Essendon and Freo losing to Hawthorn. This could go either way if we really think about it, but because we're in Perth, I'm going to go Freo. Geelong beat the Dogs. This is another one of those games where it's like, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it here, the Dogs, but they always find a way. They surprise, and Geelong have been on a nice stretch of play. I am going to go Geelong, but I would not be surprised if the Dogs find a way somehow. Giants versus Gold Coast. This one is at NG Stadium, otherwise known as GWS's home ground, and because Gold Coast are yet to win a game away from home, even against North Melbourne, I'm going to go GWS. St Kilda versus West Coast. Now, St Kilda have had some good stretch of play occasionally. The biggest win, of course, being their win over Sydney. But then a really tough one the other week, I believe, against Port Adelaide, or Adelaide, one of the two. I think it was Adelaide that they lost to. Away from home, they struggled, but they are at Victoria this time around. They're going to be playing home, close to home, so I'm going to say St Kilda take this. West Coast had a great start to the year for their standards, but have started to slowly drop off, so I'm going to go St Kilda. Hawthorn versus Collingwood. This one could also go either way at this rate. I think Hawthorn have happily surprised many, and Collingwood have been very disappointing. I am actually going to go Collingwood, even though my head is telling me I shouldn't. But I feel like Hawthorn, they don't have the experience that Collingwood now have, and Collingwood, their backs are up against the wall. They really just have to perform. They really have to perform, or it could go very poorly for them. And then Brisbane versus Sydney, another one that I think could actually go either way, but I'm going to go with Sydney, as they are very clearly the strongest team in the comp right now. But I hope Brisbane makes it a fight. And so that is what we are going with for this round's tips. Now, that is out of the way. We've got ourselves the star powers and the top teams. These are my most favorite part of the weekend, showing you guys what I'm going with this week. So, 3 of them are the same. In Errol Goulden as the mighty, we've got Nick Martin as the next gen, and Dane Zorko as the trailblazer. Obviously no Gorn yet, so we're sticking with Zorko in the trailblazer position, but the changes are, we are not going Hayden Young, we're going Lockie Whitfield. I should have done it last week, but I thought it'd be safer to put a midfielder in there. No, we have got ourselves Lockie Whitfield because he is just playing consistent 100-point games, and that's what we need in here. And then I'm going Zach Butters as the midfield full, purely because of the fact they're up against Richmond. Not because he came off a good week, just purely off the fact that he is playing Richmond. He should be able to have himself an absolutely stunning game. It would be awesome to see it happen. But this lineup together, I've got pretty high hopes for it. Really high hopes. It did all right last week, the ones that we had, but last week was a ridiculous week in terms of the scores you needed to get yourself a prize card. 551 is good, but 600 plus was what you had to hit, and that's very tough. That is not easy by any means. So that is going to be an interesting one. Hopefully a 600-point performance from these guys would be over the moon if we can do it. We go on Ultra though. Ultra sees very, very similar. The changes are purely in which ones get the double points. We've got ourselves Silver Zach Butters and Silver Dane Zorko. Honestly, if I could, I have a double points Zach Butters, but I don't have his card. So we're going with Nick Martin as the double points, Lockie Whitfield as the double points, and Errol Goulden as the double points. Those are our usual doubles. They were our doubles last week, and it saw us get rank 3. We had, what, a 151, a 140, and a 130, or either. I think, yeah, 132 here for Whitfield, and last week 143 for Nick Martin. So these guys were awesome for us last week. If we could do something like that again, would be ecstatic. I really would. Obviously, I have high hopes for this team. They've been consistently good most of the year. If Zorko can pull out a 100-point game like he has done occasionally, and Butters has another great week, then this is going to be an awesome week for the Star Powers once again. And like I said, rank 3. If we didn't have that 1 week where our scores didn't count, I reckon we'd be pretty high up there right now. But we're going to be happy with what we've got, happy we're getting more prize cards and have more on the way. So I'm just going to take what we've got and stay positive. But yeah, Star Powers is looking exciting. I've really got nothing bad to say about Star Powers from last week. I don't really have too much stress. I feel really good about my picks. Probably the biggest stress I've got is the Errol Goulden pick, but we know that he can have amazing games. It's just this was the first good game in a good while for Errol, so I'd like to see him do it again. Also knowing that I've got double points Rosie here when they're up against Richmond, but because he's playing forward pocket from the team stats or the listed team for this weekend against Richmond, I'm not sure. Obviously, he will get his runs in here and there, and I'd imagine he has himself a good game, 100 plus potentially, but I want to stay with Errol. He is probably the highest chance at 150 on a regular basis, and 150 is hard to do, so Errol, please do it again. But now we're going to go to Top Team. Top Team is a very, very interesting look this week. Really excited to show the top 4. This is what we've got. It is a very, very interesting look. We are staying with Rowan Marshall. He did awesome last week. I'll show you the 150 we had from him last week. Absolutely amazing pick. I want to see more good stuff from him this week. The midfield has changed out from Errol to Butters. Again, I told you before, this is purely a choice based off the fact they're against Richmond. He's going to get his moments in the midfield. He should be able to explode. It should be a lot of fun to watch. Just hopefully things go well, because I know Butters can't always do 100 plus, and I don't know whether he'll need to do 100 plus this week, but I would love it if he can push himself for something massive. We've gone Whitfield just too many times now. He's gotten that consistent 100, and he can occasionally pop off for these massive 130-point games as well. I want to see what Whitfield can do this week up against the Gold Coast side that will test them, but with the way Whitfield plays, I would not be surprised to see him rack up his points. It would be awesome. And we go back to Heaney this week. Obviously, we went Hogan last week, which didn't go well, but that's okay because Heaney, he remains fairly consistent. Obviously, 108 for the season is great. Is by far the best forward for the season, nearly 20 points higher than second place. Just, we need another 100-point performance from you, mate. Would be awesome. But this top 4 is looking really, really dangerous. Really excited to see how this one goes. Rowan, again, is something I didn't expect, but I'm really hopeful it turns out the way we are looking for. If he can get himself a bunch of hitouts like he did last week on top of the regular stats he seems to be getting, then I'll be over the moon. Like 20 disposals is his average. Sure, he had 19 kicks, and that's obviously super helpful, but only the one mark. Like, there's things here and there that if he can do better, we'll have an even better week this week. And it's all really down to whether he can maybe get those hitouts again. He's up against a opponent, Bailey Williams, who no shots or, hate towards the guy, but probably not better than Rowan Marshall. I don't know whether he is anywhere. That's right. I don't even have West Coast code yet. That is so dumb. But to be fair, Elliot Yeo is not playing this week. He's got an injury. So these 4 are looking dangerous. This feels like a really, really exciting top 4 this week. I hope it does well. But we go to top 18 now, and the few changes they made too. Big one for me is this Andrew Brayshaw pick in the middle. This is one that I'm honestly excited to see how it goes. We've got ourselves, Andy, up against a really interesting side. The deflated Melbourne team without Christian Petrarca. They do have Clary, who's starting to find a little bit of form again, so that's good for him. We've also got Jack Viney in there, which is nice, but just obviously the loss of Petrarca means someone has to step up. I can't remember. I think it's Rivers. Yeah, so Rivers has been given the step up, and fair credit to him. He's been doing his part. Like, he helped them win against Essendon in a way that I don't think many people expected. I definitely didn't expect it. So it would be nice to see Brayshaw pop off. I reckon he has the opportunity. It's either going to be him or Sarong, maybe Hayden Young, hence why I've got him in defenders. But Brayshaw, I'm hoping, is the one that makes the most of it, because he can have some poor ones, but like when he goes off, he goes off. He can win weeks. He really can. So hopefully we see something like that this week. We're sticking with Errol, sticking with Cripps as they're up against North. So I'm putting Cripps in there. Sticking with Dunkley as well. He also is one of those players who can just pop off. 106 last week isn't the best from him, but we've seen him win weeks as well. And Butters, as previously mentioned, because he is up against Richmond, and that would be awesome to see him do well in there. Again, I can't use the mismatch of Harris and Petty in the ruck because they're up against Freo this week. And that Luke Jackson-Sean Darcy combo eats at both of their points. So I'm not confident in putting a matchup of Sean Darcy in there. But we can see Luke Jackson is in. So I'm hopeful that when he does get put in the ruck, he dominates in there. Some changes made in the forward line. Heaney comes in. I believe he takes out Danaher. Mackay also comes in. Again, that North Melbourne matchup. It was really a thought between either him or Curnow, as it usually is, but because Harry plays further up the ground most of the time, he's going to get involved, fingers crossed, in more play. So it'd be awesome to see him dominate there. And then in the back line, the change is Dacos for Ridley. I think that is the only change right now, but considering the last few weeks for Dacos, I really think a change was needed, not only in top 4, but in top 18. I think that I need to take the risk in choosing someone else, and I think Ridley is the player to do it. I think he will play well. I'm hoping he plays well. It was either him or Dan Houston, and I may even put in Tom Stewart because he's starting to get midfield minutes. And if that was the case, I'd probably end up taking out one of these guys down the bottom, either Sheasel or Newman, maybe Sinclair. But again, I'm kind of hoping on Sinclair having one of those weeks where he is just all over the ball. It would be awesome to see. But Stewart, probably going to get put in after this video. Either way, this top 18 I'm really excited for. When you come off a winning week, you feel good. And we've got rank 3 for top 18, rank 18 overall last week. Makes sense for around 18, but we saw a prize card from here, exactly what we wanted. And as I mentioned in the review for round 18, if I win, I want to get the Jai Simpkin. That's the one I want to get next, because we are getting close to the end of the season. I don't want to miss out on my North cards. Can't miss I just cannot miss out on them. I think I forgot to show the top 4 scores from last week as well. Basically, did well enough that we kept our rank 1 position for round 18, and we need to do it again. There is just no way of getting around it. I need to do a rank 1 again. I just have to. Anyways, that is all we have got for the video this week. Yeah, once again, hopefully you guys are as keen as I am. Should be a good weekend of footy nonetheless, however the scores go. I'm keen to watch tonight's matchup, so be sure. Let me know how you are feeling about this weekend. It should be a lot of fun. I'm keen as bean for it. So, as per usual, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Everything is always very much appreciated. But I hope to see you all in another video like this. We've got Footy Stars coming back tomorrow, so I'm keen for that too. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good.